What is going on, 5'9" gamers? My name is Joe Wags, and today I will be your host for your favorite podcast, the Dokkan Battle Podcast. Our podcast is presented to you by 5'9" Gaming. 5'9" Gaming is your source for all things gaming, anime, and entertainment related. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things 5'9". Now, it has been a hot minute. It's been a little bit since we had a podcast, so we have a lot to talk about today. Today's episode is number 104, Dokkan's explosive 8th anniversary. And I can't do it alone. I've got two amazing guests with me today. My first guest, believe it or not, but he has a YouTube channel and it covers Bleach and Dokkan. Y'all need to subscribe. Say hello to Vilify today.
Hey, what's going on? I wasn't expecting a Bleach mention during the Dokkan podcast, but here we are.
Yeah, man. Bleach Brave Souls is still going strong, is it not?
Oh, yeah. We're like 4 or 5 months out of an 8-year anniversary like Dokkan, so...
Yeah, so definitely if you like both of those games, definitely check this guy out. Get two great games in one place. Just like my channel, you can get Final Fantasy and Dokkan all in one place, right? And my second guest, who also has an amazing YouTube channel, Focus on Dokkan, he will teach you how to pronounce the word "fi" properly. Minato, how's it going?
Hello, yes, and I do Dokkan, I guess, I don't know what to say. I can't wait
I thought it was Fizz.
I'm not even getting into it. Blah 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 blah. Anyways,
I follow Minato on Twitter, and I know that it's pronounced "fi" because he taught me how to properly say it. So that's all I'm saying about that, right? So
I'm done with this argument. I know I'm right. So
yeah, Minato's right. I'm on the Minato train. We're all good here. So let's just hop right into things. Obviously, 8th anniversary is here. Vilify, Minato, they're both on JP. I'm on Global. So we're going to hear a lot of these two guys first talking about the JP 8th anniversary. We're a couple weeks into it. So just so far, what do you think of the anniversary? Minato, just give me your overall thoughts right now on where we're at.
I think the anniversary is good. I think there's been a lot of good content. I know a lot of people have been saying that the anniversary isn't really up to par with what they feel the anniversary should have been. But if you really look at it, like, especially, I feel like they're doing it differently in terms of its structure, right? It feels more closer to how the worldwide celebration was structured compared to the 7th anniversary. So while there are some things missing between each of these celebrations, of course, there's a lot of things. Like, for example, this first anniversary, we've had part 1 EZAs, right? And we've had multiple EZAs already at this point. 2 of them, in fact, 2 full Extreme Z battles. Is pretty cool. They've been introducing some different things, and I just overall have enjoyed the anniversary. There's a 1, 2, 3 day period at the end of each content drop where it gets a little dry, but besides that, they usually are doing a good job at spacing out the releases. So it's every 4 or 5 days they drop something new to do, which is very good to see.
Yeah, for sure. And Vil, what's your take on the anniversary so far?
I think Minato kind of did cover it in a good way, where it's the public kind of connotation, at least from an outside looking in perspective, is that the 7th anniversary is better just because of the red zone and stuff like that. We have this Birth of the Shadow Dragons event, but it just doesn't really feel like the red zone to me. But I think Minato said it well. Part 1 EZAs is something that's really cool, and then obviously we have part 2 EZAs that we're going to talk about later. But overall, I'd say it's a good celebration. I really like how they've kind of went outside the box in terms of the theme that they decided to go with. I don't think many people could have seen, double super spirit bombs coming. And then also, the theme for part 2 is also almost as creative as they've probably ever been in terms of what they're going for here. It's I don't know if we want to talk about the theme right now, or do we just want to save the overall discussion for it?
We can wait. We got it on the agenda. We'll talk about it.
TLDR openings are a very cool idea, and that's I think that's a great kind of concept, and I've been having a lot of fun so far, and I think that the units are very good. But I think we'll get more into the discussion for the unit as we move on, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then for me as a global player, just kind of looking in from the outside, the one thing I would just say in general is people just want to rush to compare it to the 7th anniversary, and it's not even over yet. So that's all I'm going to say is wait till it's done, and then feel free to compare them. But I feel like it's just not fair to even compare them right now. So
this time last year, we saw these 7-year units dominating all the content too, right? Where it was the EZA or we didn't really have a good testing ground during part 1 for the 7 years last year either. So part 3 is really where they got tested. So we'll have to see, but maybe part 2, I don't know. I guess the Ice and Nova Shenron stages were a little bit tricky the first 2 times I played it, but other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing, right? I'd say last year the red zone was probably a little bit harder, but it's tough to say.
Right. And there's still more content to come, right? Which I think we just got to
Mhm.
wait and see. So let's talk about the two big units. These are the standby Spirit Bomb units. So Minato, just give us your overall view on both of these units.
I think they're both good. Probably, but no, I mean, I wouldn't even say probably the best unit in the game, in my opinion. I really like that their design, while similar, the standby skills are work very, very different to each other. So
Mhm.
it makes them feel a lot more unique units compared to, like, let's compare UI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta, or the year 7 LRs, or even the year 5 LRs, right? All of them are just very, very similar, and while they have their differences, it's like they're basically the same unit. But this year it feels a lot different, and that's very, very. I just think it's a nice breath of fresh air that they have truly different designs in their standby skills. They want to do different things, and I just like them a lot. I think that they have just really good designs, right? I guess that's the only way to say it. My only issue with the LRs is their leader skills. Unfortunately, Power for Hope isn't really a strong category team right now. We've been getting buffs for it. We got the two new EZs coming in part two, right? We'll discuss that a little later. And then on top of that, we know that global version actually got the LR Super Saiyan God Goku EZA, which is another Power of Hope category unit. So hopefully, we get more and more buffs to that category very soon. So it becomes a lot more runnable. But as of now, it's not really the best team, unfortunately, in terms of structure and cohesiveness.
For sure. And the other thing is these units obviously fit on a lot of other good teams. So that's, I think, where a lot of people are using them right now. Vilify, what do you think of the two new units?
I've had a lot more time to kind of gauge and understand the the Buu Saga unit more than the GT unit, just because I haven't had much time to use the GT unit yet. I literally just pulled them yesterday. But
Yep.
overall, I'd say I like that the fact that these units have like built a foundation where we have so many different potential options for standby and these unique gauge mechanics is that there's a lot of different openings that they kind of provide. But I think I'm not really I just feel like that the Buu Saga LR just doesn't really have any content that's suited for what you want them to be doing right now, because they can get caught really quickly defensively, but at the same time it's like they want long events, but there's just not that many long events in the game right now. But that's not to say that they're not far and away. I'd say those two units are the best in the game right now. You could maybe make a case that Orange Piccolo is right there with them, but it's tough to say.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, the
think
thing with them, I'd say, is they demolish events so quickly that
Mhm.
it's like any event is a short event with them.
That's the
Because they have
problem, right?
huge offensive potential, right? So hopefully we get some event that will allow us to take advantage of that. In fact, the seventh stage of the Shadow Dragon event has 3 different phases. So
Mhm.
there's 3 different sunshine rounds from what we know in the data. So we'll see. Maybe he's extremely tanky. Maybe he has enemy guard. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think an event like if they did more events, like I think it's one of the metal cooler red zones where like the first boss like just has a crap ton of HP and you're just supposed to go X number of turns. If they do events where like they lead with something like that where you're forced to have so many turns, that could be a nice type for them, because no matter how much damage they're going to do, you shouldn't be able to take that unit out, right? Vil, I think I cut you off there.
Yeah, no, Minato was talking about it's like how offensive they are. It's like even because my like the Buu Saga LR 55% like linked up with like someone like Father Son Gallic on Vegeta and Trunks. It's like they're ripping off like an 8.7, a 9.3, and then they want to go ahead and do like 3 more 6 million attack supers, and then those have chances to crit and whatnot. It's like what bosses really, like, aside from like the end like phases of these red zone fights and whatnot, like what bosses are tanking that?
Right. Right. They're just really powerful right now.
Hmm.
I do like that they have the unique standby mechanic. I think it makes the game feel a little bit different. And this
Hmm.
whole idea that you actually go into a unit that can't attack, but they're super defensive. And then I kind of like the GT one, kind of similar to the LR Future Gohan, where like he gets really weak defensively, but he wants to do the revive. I think that's kind of cool too. So I just like the uniqueness of them. I think they bring a little bit different flavor to the game. So I think they're definitely a great addition. So as you guys mentioned earlier, we did get some part 1 EZAs, which we normally don't get. So we had STR transforming Buu and physical Vegito. So Vilify, I'll start with you this time. What are your thoughts on these EZAs?
I wanted so much more from Vegito. That's like kind of the headliner, right? He was one of those EZAs that I actually had rainbowed and link leveled, like ready to go, expecting that EZA for like probably 2 years now that unit's been done. And I just feel like they only made him a better version of AGL Vegito, and in my opinion, that just was not enough. But Super Boo, they decided to cook with Super Boo, right? Like when you get out to like someone like Buhan, like it's the amount of numbers that you're seeing, the damage reduction that he has, the healing, all that stuff, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like that Boo as well. Minato, what are your thoughts on these two units?
I think Boo is really good. I think Vegito is still a little underrated. Like, I understand he could have definitely been better, and I think that the issue with him is that he's always going to be solid and runnable, right? Whilst people wanted him to be really outwardly good right now, and then obviously in the future age out. Like that's how a lot of these EZAs turn out. Is like they're really really good for now. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, and then they eventually just kind of falter off like a normal unit. But this Vegito is kind of designed inversely. And he's always, I feel like, been designed in this case where he's always going to be a solid, runnable option, 5th, 6th unit, on the team. But he's not going to age out nearly as fast. He's going to still have the same role that he has now in like 4 years, even, right? I would say, which is a big, thing to say, but I honestly think it's true. Because of that damage reduction against normal attacks, he's just always going to take 0 damage with the amount of base defense he has. Would I prefer he hit harder and be better? Yes, for sure. But as of now, I still think he's actually a fairly designed unit. Now, I really like the Boo unit for sure. I think that strong. If there's one change I would make to him, make him transform in turn 4. But really, that's just like picking a little. He really needs more Boo partners for him to truly shine. But Boo Ultimate Gohan himself is pretty absurd.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen some videos, and that's the kind of thing with there's a little bit of randomness into who you're going to transform in based on your health. So if you get the wrong transformation, because I think it's the Boo Tenks one that is like the not good one, but the Boo Piccolo and I think the Buhan are pretty impressive, right? So if you get the right one, you're going to be good to go, and you can kind of manipulate that based on your HP and kind of plan for that. The thing with Vegito, like you said, he's going to age well because of the damage reduction on normals. I think in the future, if there's a really good partner with that you can pair with him that like always has Scouter, or like let's say STR LR Vegito gets his EZA and you can pair them together and he's got Scouter going. Like he's really good if there's a Scouter up because then he can't get caught. But yeah, against supers, I think he's always gonna be dying to supers. But yeah, I think there's some longevity there just because you guarantee you're gonna take normals pretty much no matter how hard the content gets, because that's just such high damage reduction, right? So we do have some new events that have come with the celebration as well. So we've got this Birth of the Shadow Dragons, and then there's like a nuking event. And I think you guys mentioned these a little bit earlier. So Minato, can you tell us about these kind of new events and what your experience has been with them?
All right, so like with the new event specifically, the Shadow Dragon event, I'm assuming is what you're talking about.
Yes. Yep.
It's basically like the replacement for Red Zone in a sense. Unfortunately, whilst I feel like it's the enemies hit as hard as like Red Zone bosses do, and they're kind of gimmicky. So it's a little bit of a fresh taste of air rather than, oh, I'm gonna go against this boss, maybe he locks me. They can't be debuffed or anything like that. Like, Nova Shenron, for example, he hits you really, really hard, so you have to debuff him. He could be attack lord, and if you do that, you kind of beat him fairly easily, right? Stuff like that, where it's like interesting, where you have to kind of think about your team builds a little more. I think I like it a lot. The issue I'd say mostly with that is there's firstly only one type of stage compared to Red Zone, right? Well, last year for the 7th anniversary, we've had 2 different stages of Red Zone, the movie bosses and the GT bosses side. And then on top of that, once you figure out the gimmicks, or if you know the gimmicks ahead of time, the bosses become significantly easier than like I feel like Red Zone bosses, especially if you have the correct setup. So I feel like if you really set it up correctly, it hasn't really matched up to Red Zone in my personal opinion. But we do still have one more stage coming in part 3, so hopefully that will be good. And maybe we get new other events too, right? But besides that, we have your general like the equipment event that's around that's pretty good. We got a new link level stage, which is pretty cool in terms of like how the meta cooler fight was. We got a new one for the King Kai's planet, it has a higher link level rate, and we're actually getting keys for free, which is pretty good for free to play players. So I don't know, just touching on some things that I feel like really pop out to me. Additionally, we had the nuking stage for part 1. but I'm not sure, Phil, if I would like to talk about that. I know, Phil,
I
if
can
I
if
had
you'd
fun.
I was thinking like, all right, I guess I'll just say I agree with everything Minato said and we'll move on. But yeah, the nuking event, there's this certain EZA that came to JP and didn't come to Global. He's pretty good in there. I don't know if you you used him, Minato. Surely you did, but he's got a purple outfit on. He's got yellow hair.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, so the AGL Gohan EZA is kind of like in the first one, it's literally just like the Kid Buu stage. It's just get there, turn one, get the right rotation, and then just absolutely bomb it. But the one against it's Sin and Omega, that one actually takes a little bit of thought, right? Because you can't just like, it's a double phaser, right? So if you can't just like waste all your items in the first phase and go, what I found the best strategy to be was you have to kind of survive as long as you can in phase one just to get to that second part. And then once you get to the Omega phase, you have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan on rotation. Then you pop out the nuke. But what I was kind of finding myself using was, like Minato said, we have like gimmicks, right? I was using the free-to-play AGL superhero Gohan in there, right? Like that's how, because he has attack lowering. And so does AGL Gohan. So does I had PyCon in there for his Ghost Usher. So I could make sure that I got to the AGL Gohan, and I think I had Carnival Goku with him, but that rotation with a little bit of support and some Chilai items, and then once he's in Super Saiyan 2, you have that, 22, 23 million attack stat that he's ripping off. It might even be more than that, probably. Like maybe more like 50 million, because what you have to do, if you guys don't know, the mission is to clear it's not just clear, it's do a certain amount of damage with an attack, a la like the punching machine, right?
Yeah.
So for Kid Buu, you have to do, I think it's over 40 million with an attack. And then for the Omega phase, you have to do over 30 million with an attack. So if Gohan rips off like a 60 million attack stat and gets a crit on both of those like enemies, then you're good. But again, I like when they do stuff like that. Like we think about the worldwide celebration. I think it was this year, it was like, wasn't it a fight against like metal coolers or like the little bots or whatever? And you had to
it was like an AoE one or something.
Yeah, like the AoE, and then the year before that, it was the Bardock squad. Like you had to fight against the Frieza soldiers. I always like events like that where it's not just like try and tank as much as you can and not die. It's more of like you need to get on the offensive, because like I'm always more of a fan of like the best defense being a good offense. But unfortunately, the game doesn't really let you play like that. So when they do give you that option, it's kind of fun.
Or just get the new LRs.
That too. Listen, I was yeah. So the Busag LR really just, I thought Gohan was just more efficient for me in the first phase, but the second phase I didn't have the GT duo, so it was like,
Yeah, because they're wanting you to use the spirit bomb, right? That's the intent.
They want they want you to use the spirit bomb. So that's why Kid Buu has like regenerating HP. He has like 5 phases, Tinky. So you put up the spirit bomb, and then Omega literally just one shots you with the spirit bomb as well. I mean, he has his attack. Not he doesn't use a spirit bomb, but Omega one shot you in the second phase.
I was confused. I didn't know what you meant. I was like, what?
And then additionally, what each of the phases have is that they have a target spot that you can hit on the map, and that target spot basically lets you go under 50.
I forgot to mention that.
51% HP, which it basically guarantees you to get the actual active skill, standby skill, right? Sorry, I'm just saying active skill, but they're standby skills. You can do the same for Gohan, where you hit that spot, and then you have 16 on the team, turn one, transform with Gohan, right?
That's who I thought it was for, low key. Like, I thought it was
for the standby skills, you silly.
Gohan was yesterday's news on JP.
You take 51% HP damage, and then you have to be under 50%, so that's kind of
all right, so here's how we're going to chalk this up, right? If you did not pull the new LRs, I just gave you the strategies for it, and incidentally, right? But I didn't have the GT duo to my defense, so I was just telling you my experience in the Omega stage, where it's like I had to do attack lowering and then get the perfect setup with Gohan, right? But yeah, I can see where just doing the Spirit Bomb might be a little bit easier. Thank you, Minato.
I can't believe I didn't think about that.
The general rule for everyone, the easiest way in a gacha is to pull the newest unit. That's how you beat any event in a gacha. There's your strategy guide right there. Just pull the new thing.
And the thing is that people will feel like this is kind of pay to win, and it's like not necessarily. Like I've seen some people do some of the missions with GT Super Saiyan Goku, even the Golden Week unit, right? So there are options, but you may not be able to clear all the missions 100%, without some really good RNG unless you have the new LRs, which the new LRs make it extremely easy. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the nuking event.
I do get a kick out of people complaining about an event being pay to win in a predatory gotcha. All right, it's like the whole premise of it is pay to win.
Yeah.
An event comes out. Oh, now they're being scummy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the whole point is to make money, right? So they're trying to sell you the units that they want you to pull for. So that's the whole point. Exactly.
God forbid.
Yep. And so I think gotcha gamers just have to keep in mind that it's okay not to beat everything, and it's okay not to get every mission.
Yeah.
If you have that mindset, then you won't fall into the trap.
The only issue is that this event is only live during the anniversary.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Because the fighting spirit and Pride of the Wicked Bloodline, that's still there.
Yep.
Yeah, but this one is not going to be there.
Yeah. Okay. That's what it's just like the same thing with Cell Max, right? It's like, people are upset
that they couldn't do it. I feel like to do.
Of course, people are upset that they couldn't do Cell Max without the gammas for the missions. It's like, okay, well, Cell Max is still there, so it's not like it's going away anytime soon.
Yep, for sure. All right, well, let's hop into part 2, which just got revealed. And a lot of people disappointed with the announced characters, but we don't even know what they do yet. But the characters are a base Goku and a Kid Gohan, and these are from openings from the show. So, Vilify, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the part 2 LR reveals?
I think we're just going through the typical cycle that we get when it's not a fusion or a big reveal for part 2, right? And it's like once we see the animations and we see the Goku on Namek or whatever from Kai and all that fun stuff, I think people will be a little bit more excited. Personally, what has me the most excited is the Goku's banner. I just see the value with Carnival Goku. I think Golden Frieza's on that banner. And then I think STR Piccolo is there as well. It's that's a really good value banner to summon on if you want Carnival coins, right? But yeah. I think the overall choice, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I think it's when we have these unique themes, I think it's really fun because last year they kind of threw us a curveball with Saiyan Saga, but when you think about it, it made sense, right? Because it was okay, it's Goku and Vegeta, and those versions of the two were on the load up screen, right? So it's it makes sense. And I think with this one, it's just this theme is it's creative, right? I think they're doing something different. They're experimenting with things, and I'm a fan, right? Openings are not something I ever would have thought would be an anniversary theme, but here we are. We're doing openings, so I guess we'll see. And like I said, we're doing all this without kits being revealed, so all we have to go on is a SSR Goku art and an SSR Kid Gohan art. And some
right,
banners, so it's
that's the thing. We don't even know if the LR will actually still be those characters. They could turn into a Joint Forces card or something.
Yeah,
so,
and we've seen what we think the LR arts could potentially be. Would be basically the ending shots of the openings, right? Where it's all the people together, and that's what I think that's a realistic expectation. But we shall see. I'm kind of hoping, part of me hopes that Goku is not a Goku that Dokkan awakens into Super Saiyan Goku. It's for crying out loud. 3 Carnival Super Saiyan Gokus in 7 months or whatever we're at.
That would be 3 out of 4 Carnival units or something ridiculous. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Minato, your thoughts on the theme for part 2?
I think it's good. I think people should wait and see though, before they give final judgments, including myself. Mm-hmm. But at a visual glance, I think that units being based off of the openings, it's very, I guess, it's different from what we usually get. It's not necessarily what if, but it's not a scene from the anime where it's oh, hey, Goku's gonna do the Spirit Bomb again, or it's LR Kid Buu, right? Which it would have been cool to get an LR Kid Buu and Omega, which I feel is why a lot of people were disappointed. But I think it's cool that this is something original, and based off the openings are very nice because I feel the Dragon Ball Z and Kai openings are both actually pretty good. So I'm excited to see how they look in game. But I understand why people are disappointed in it. I just wouldn't write it off like people are until we actually see, hey, what are their kits looking like? How good are their animations and stuff like that? Then we can make a final decision because I feel like a lot of the times the Dokkan community really does this kind of pattern where either likely underhype something. Last year we got Double Gogeta, a lot of people were upset at it, and then now it's looked very favorably. STR Vegito, so many people were mad, stuff like that. So we'll wait and see. At the end of the day, it's Goku and Gohan, so I'm sure it's gonna do well.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
I thought, and then I completely lost it after you started going. So I'll get it though.
Yeah, it's all good. I think a lot of people, they were really set on Kid Buu and Omega, and so I think because it wasn't them, they're just naturally upset. I'm fine either way, but I do think some of the disappointment would be if say Buu doesn't get any more support this celebration. that STR transforming Boo EZA could almost be wasted because he still needs more for like that Boo team. I think STR Kid Boo is still actually really good, and possibly if that physical worldwide LR Boo gets, the Boo tanks, if he gets an EZA, which some people are thinking might happen, that could be enough for the Boo team to look pretty good. But we'll have to wait and see. And then we've got that free-to-play Bobbity too, which we haven't really talked about them yet. But we don't know, because right now I think they're underwhelming, but they got an EZA coming, we're thinking, right? And they haven't EZA'd yet, so we don't really know. But that could be another unit there as well. So with that, go ahead. If any of you want to touch up on what I just said there, otherwise we can move on to the next part.
When I was writing the outline, I forgot about this. But also, I think the reveal of it being openings and kind of like Minato, about this, like Truth tweeting out like everyone let's point and laugh at the people saying like Kid Buu and Omega, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I think that was worth that reveal. It's like, but like, there's also a side of it's like if there really was a time for us to get the LR Kid Buu, I think that this would make the most sense. And now it's like, now that when the headlining celebration unit is a Super Spirit Bomb Goku from Buu Saga, and then part 2 isn't Kid Buu, it's like, when is Kid Buu really going to come?
It's funny because I said that. The reason why Truth quoted my twin that, and I said that, I was like, it's like every year people say the same thing.
Every
5-year, Broly and what was it? Broly and Zamasu, 6-year. I don't know. What were people saying for 6-year? I forgot.
Everyone, because once we knew it was UI Goku, it was like maybe we were thinking it's like, is it going to be a Jiren? But everybody knew it was going to be Tournament of Power.
Yeah, but then like year 7, people were again saying
the same thing.
What was it, Broly and Omega? Right?
Broly and Omega. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Yes, he's coming. He's confirmed. And this year, Kid Buu and Omega confirms. It's like, bro, chill. They aren't gonna do that. It's always usually Saiyans or Super Class.
The 5 years went through the loop in, right?
The only like outsider that I remember at the top of my head is the Golden Frieza and 17. And it's like, sure, the one outsider, but like they're still on the Universe 17, right? So it's like I can't really call them bad guys, even though they're Extreme Class.
The year before that, they did 2 Extreme Class for the part 2. They did
Broly and Rosette. They're Saiyans.
Saiyans.
Okay. They're Saiyans.
Okay. Like, I got you.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of thrown off. I'm like, you talking about Extreme Class? Like, it's right there.
No, I mean, even though they're Extreme Class, they're still kind of good guys. It's, good
right?
Guys,
Yeah.
No, 17 especially, but
yeah.
They don't usually like, unless it's a Saiyan like Broly or what's it called, a Rose. They don't usually do like that, and they usually kind of just throw us our expectations somewhere elsewhere. So that's why I didn't really 100% was on board. Like, oh yes, Omega and Kid Buu confirmed. They have to be coming, right?
Yeah, I think Dokkan is just dead set on doing whatever they can do to like prolong GT bosses from getting like a legit team. So no LR Omegas yet. We can't have GT bosses be legit.
Omega, if you're seeing LR Omega now, it's like he would be dead anyways. I mean, they don't care about GT bosses, Shadow Dragons.
Then that's the problem. They've spread them all out so much that they're not coming together at a cohesive time together. Like, think of LR Super 17 when he released, and now he's like basically dead by the time he'll actually get a team. You're basically waiting on his EZ at this point.
They need to do a celebration around it. Like, not just drop LR Omega. They need to do a celebration like Dokkan Fest Omega.
Yep.
New Shadow Dragon banner unit, and then maybe some free-to-play Shadow Dragons.
Yes, they need to do that. Well, they got the Shadow Dragon banner unit, which is pretty terrible. We haven't even talked about the banner units.
I was gonna say, you guys don't think Ice and Nova is enough?
No, we're skipping them. We're gonna talk about them for a reason.
We won't even talk about it. They're not even acknowledgeable. Pretty, exactly.
Go take Saburo or K, but like, nah.
Yeah. So just in terms of this double carnival format, I'll just start off and say that I like the way they did it during Worldwide better. I like one Dokkan Fest and one carnival in each part. What do you guys think? I'll just throw it out about the carnival format.
I mean, I would prefer it to be how it was Worldwide Celebration, because I feel like splitting the Dokkan Fest made things really more hype for part 1 and 2. So, honestly, that's how it feels. And I think if they split the Dokkan Fest, people would have been more excited with, What if it was part 1, Goku from the Boost well, I guess Z Spirit Bomb, and then Kid Buu, and then part 2, GT Spirit Bomb and Omega, right? That's probably what
Right.
they would have had to do. And I guess the reason why they didn't do like the Dokkan X Carnival format is not because it wasn't necessarily well received, but I think it's because they wanted to do this idea where it's, okay, part 2 LRs are based off the opening, and then part 1 LRs are based off the the spirit bombs. And really the 2 spirit bomb units needed their own Dokkan events because they don't really have Dokkan events around them as of this moment, right? So
Right.
at least that's my opinion.
Yep. Vil, do you have any thoughts on the carnival format?
I'm inclined to agree with what Minato said with like the part 1 and the part 2 kind of being split, but maybe it's like just like a thing where it's like, what if they did the Buu Saga LR and then along with it, because we know who part 2 is now, like what if it was just like Carnival Kid Gohan? It's like realistically, who would like summon on that, right?
Right.
It's like maybe they think this is their best chance to get people to summon on both of the Carnival banners rather than splitting them up.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's who knows? We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so it's like we're just kind of hypothesizing here.
Right, and the carnival format is so new, there's no precedent to how they are supposed to do it. So they might just be testing the waters. They did it one way during Worldwide, and now they're doing it another way, and they're going to see what works better.
The sample size is 1 celebration before this, and then like one random carnival banner on JP thrown in between with the Carnival Goku.
Yep, exactly. So we'll move on, but there have been a couple of big EZAs on JP. So we got STR Kaioken Blue Goku, and then we got the LR Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. So I want to know, Minato, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on these EZAs?
I think that they both look good. I actually am a big fan of the Blue Kaioken Goku, funny enough.
Yeah, me too.
Whoa, I just keep coughing, bro. Move on to Vilify. Well, for a second.
Okay, Vil.
No, wait, I'm good. I'm good. Oh my goodness,
I was about to get rolling.
Let me get a drink of water. Oh my goodness.
All right, listen.
I'm sorry, yo. It's flu season. Your boy got the cough in him.
Listen,
that's crazy.
I'll hold you over and get you riled up. How's that?
But
no,
I'm a fan of Blue Kaioken Goku. Yeah. He does definitely need the help with the Raptor Universe 17. However, once he gets that help, I think he's honestly best easy AT War. I think he's very, very powerful. That Spirit Bomb is pretty absurd. And I really like the effects that they added to him. Like the guard really helps him a lot. Stuff like that. And he hits just much harder. I feel like one thing people don't talk about is that he's still actually pretty fine without the Spirit Bomb. But beyond that, I like him. He's a good design unit overall now. And I really feel like the guard just helps solidify what he wants to do a lot better. Now, when it comes to the Spirit Bomb Goku, the LR specifically, I think he's fine. I like him. I just feel like they should have made him centered around the Power of Hope category, because that category really would have liked his help. And again, same with the Spirit Bomb Goku, right? I talked about, hey, they are going to be in the Power of Hope team, but they kind of don't want to be around on that team. They want to be around on separate teams. Blue Kaioken Goku wants a bunch of Universe Survival Saga units. The Spirit Bomb Goku wants a bunch of Super Saiyan 1 units specifically. So it doesn't really work that well with, the new LR Spirit Bomb units for the 8th anniversary. And that's just where the issue comes in with that guy. And I feel like his defense could have been a little better. Just from looking at initial glance. Now, they're not actually in game at the time of this recording. So maybe my opinions will change about them. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep. Vil, what are your thoughts on these?
I think this is one of the rare instances where a data download kind of sways the public opinion in a positive way.
Yep.
Because we had seen the kit for Kaioken Goku, and it was like, oh my god, he's terrible. And then the data download comes out, and we're like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. Like, this guy's actually, he's cooking something here. And like Minato mentioned it. It's like the beauty of the help for Kaioken Goku is that it's so simple for it to happen. Where it's like, you think about a unit, like, let's just talk, like we mentioned it earlier, right? With LR Omega, it would probably take quite a bit to get him in the proper position. But with Kaioken Goku, it's one tournament of power celebration, and then we're cooking, right? We get a summonable Dokkan Fest, whether it be a TUR, whether it be an LR, and then we have a part 2 LR that's kind of working at the same thing. It's like Universe 7, they still have like a bunch of potential options that they could do for summonable units, right? Like, it's not like it's just a dead on the water type of team. It's like
EZAs as well.
Exactly, right? Like, we're still talking about STR UI Goku potentially getting an EZA. And then, who knows? If the 5 years were to theoretically EZA this year, then we're 1 year away from the 6 years being in line, right? Like, it's crazy to think about that, but I think that's where we're at. And it's I wouldn't want him to get his help a year later, but like, you know, a few months I feel like wouldn't be that bad. But
right.
Just to kind of reference like Minato, I know I saw you on Twitter when the EZA or the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. Initially, like you had the build for it set. Didn't you have like a bunch of additional and crit? And then the data download hits, and then you put out another tweet, and then he's got full dodge on him already. So it's like it's that's all it takes, right? Just like a little bit less defense, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess we got to prioritize dodge now. So it's like, you know, you said it really well to a point, Minato, where we said like, how do the units work with the LRs for like part 1, right? Like we could think about last year, right? The part EX Super Saiyan 4s, like Super Saiyan 4 Goku was the Super Saiyan 4 duo's like best partner, right? And they worked really well. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta worked really well with the Year 7 LRs, right? And God Goku obviously is still probably the best partner for the LR gods with his defensive prowess. But this year, I just don't feel like they're doing that much, right? Like, do you think about STR Super Buu doesn't work with any of the new LRs, right? And Physical Vegito, it's kind of the same case.
I mean, if Physical Vegito had a scouter, then I think he would actually work pretty well with them. But unfortunately, not, right? That's an issue.
He could be that slot 1 tank for the Buu Saga LR because like they can get caught defensively. I've used them plenty enough to know it's like, okay, turn 1 they take a super and like a hard event, they're gonna get hit. Like,
yeah, both them and the GT unit for sure.
And it's like, you know, right, and it's not really a knock. It's just not how they were designed. Like it's always about a unit working as intended, right? And they weren't intended to be a slot 1 tank right off the bat. So
if that's the thing, a lot of these units have their different roles at this point that they have to fill, and it's like, you know, the Spirit Bomb Goku you were talking about. I feel like his role is a floating support unit, and if he's not going to have the Super Saiyan category allies with them, I want him to be able to potentially dodge these actual super attacks that'll do really, really good damage to him. I don't think he'll have an issue tanking normals, given you get his damage reduction with these rainbow orbs, but those super attacks are definitely going to kill him. So I think, you know, seeing him as a floating rainbow orb changer, I like him to have dodge.
It's always about a unit being self-sustaining, right? We think about a unit like Physical Kid Goku, where it's like, oh, he has to get a certain amount of orbs to get like all of his procs and his passive, but he makes those orbs himself, so it's not a problem. And it'll be the same thing with that Super Saiyan Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, where it's like he's floating and changing those rainbow orbs, so he'll always have access to those, and it won't be like, you know, unless you get really unlucky, he's always going to be able to get his passive fully proc usually, except for the Super Saiyans, right?
Yeah, for sure. So do you guys have anything else you want to add on the JP side before I hop over to global? Anything I missed?
No. Can we what about the free to play Bobbity? I'm kind of upset about that unit.
Do you want to talk about him?
I briefly just want to mention, I think that standby is an absolute fumble. I think that is a moment they easily could have just saved for its own unit. And
I like it. I think it's cool.
His art is beautiful, and then part of the kit is the speech that he does to Bobbity. There's one thing a Saiyan always keeps: his pride being like part of a free to play standby. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I wish that cool. It's cool, but I wish they would have saved it.
I mean, they could do it again for another unit in the future. Like, let's stop
I guess.
Just grab the exact same voice line. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't see an issue.
Now he hasn't
do it a different way.
He hasn't EZA'd yet, though, right? There's no EZA for him yet.
No. But I think he's going to be really good
better.
With the EZA.
Yeah, because his skeleton seems really good. So. Yeah, I think the numbers just aren't there yet, but with the EZA, they could be. I do you think they could rival the Master Roshi, like the effect that unit had on the meta, or do you think they're not going to be quite that much? Not that much.
Because the thing is that they're teams, and the units are going to run them on. Extreme class teams are really down bad right now. Awfully down bad. Like the only relevant extreme class team right now is the Cooler team, and that's like a 6-month-old team basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy, but Roshi is like still runnable now. And he's such a good free to play unit. Like he's crazy. So yeah,
his revive is very good.
Yeah, and he's got built-in dodge and he's supporting and he still hits like 4 to 5 mil. Like he's really good.
No, 4 to 5 mil is pretty bad, but
for a floating support unit, I would say no.
No, I'd say the stun and the seal.
Yeah.
Is what I like.
But dude, on a floating support unit, I will take 4 to 5 mil. I'm not running them on rotation. I'm not running. If you want your floaters to hit 10 mil, I mean you got too many expectations.
My floater EZA Blue Goku. Who I said my floater EZA AGL Spirit Bomb Goku would hit 10 mil. So I don't know.
Well, trash. Yes, I suppose. I guess you're right.
Trash.
They all got to be that level. All right.
Trash.
All right. I don't know anything. You're right.
No.
All right. Well, let's move. I know you are. Let's move on to global, where maybe I actually understand Dokkan Battle, because we'll talk about global stuff here. So
Cool.
we just got physical Kid Goku and Hachan. I'll just say really quick, my summons went really well. I don't feel like I summoned that much. I kind of went lighter than I normally do, and I got Goku to 79%, and I got Hachan to 90. So it was pretty good. And I actually didn't draw any Raditzes. And so I still didn't have Raditz. I actually bought him with coins. I would not advise anybody to do that. But I didn't have him, and I wanted to experience how bad he was myself, so I bought him with coins. But I think Goku and Hachan are very good. Kid Goku is my favorite type of leader that I love it when leaders have support skills. So Goku's going to age well because he's really good on rotation now, but he's got all of the tools you want a floating support unit to have. So as he starts to age out, maybe offensively and defensively, you can start to float him, and his value as an orb changer and supporting with the crit chance and damage reduction is so invaluable. I just love this unit. I think he's absolutely crazy. Hachan is just a defensive wall. Very good on, any team setup with the Kid Goku. He's going to be great there. Why don't you guys just tell me, because you've had a lot more time to play with them. So Vilify, what are your thoughts on the Goku and Hachan if you have them on your account?
Yeah, I managed to get them both on like back-to-back multis. I think I did like 250 stones on that banner or something like that. But
oh dang, that's
irrelevant
good.
Now. But
yep.
What I found like to be best about this unit is like I've used them, like the Red Ribbon Red Zone came out, and that was like the go-to team that I would use for like trying to no item run all the stages, right? Because you would have like a rotation of Kid Goku with Hachan, and then the other one would be Carnival Goku with the AGL Gohan EZA, and then you would float off like STR Namek Goku, because it's like this is just basically an exploding rage build. And then also you would have the other floater be physical sub EZA Bardock because of that guard he gets and the defensive buff that he would get, and that would be like the team I would set to run like no item runs for all of the Red Ribbon Red Zone. So I've like really just, this guy is really impressive, and he fits on a lot of good teams. You think about the movie hero team, you could float him off or rotate him with Hachan, and he's getting the Rainbow Orb changing, the damage reduction support, and just also him being unique in the sense that he leads 3 categories and buffs 2 with his 30%, right? So I do like his the core mechanic of support with damage reduction. I'm a huge fan of, and I hope they continue to do stuff like that in the future. But Hachan is very simple. It's just like he doesn't take anything, and that's it. But I think Kid Goku is much more like unique in the sense of he can do a lot of different things, and I'm really a big fan of that unit. So I was glad I managed to sneak off with like, him and Hachan, because I feel like if you pull one, you got to get the other.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Ginyu situation where like you want the stuff to go with it, right? Minato, your thoughts on these 2 units?
I don't think Kid Goku is reliant on wanting Hachan, but
Hachan's reliant on Goku, yeah.
Yeah, Hachan's reliant on Goku. And
it's
if you want to show Goku off, like if you want to use Goku off at his best potential, you definitely want Hachan. Goku's more of like a just very influential unit that I feel like is going to be good for a very long time.
Yeah, for sure. I really like him. And then we also got the free-to-play Yamcha, and I did a showcase on him, and I actually really liked him. I thought they did a pretty good job with him. I like that, Dragon Ball Saga just needs any help it can get. And this is a support unit. If you're running a Peppy Gals unit on the team, I mean, I had this guy hitting like 4 mil attack stats, which is good for a support unit, Minato. Good for a support unit. And after, I don't like that he gets some of his passive after 5 turns. I wish he just had it all right away, but I thought he was solid. And I like Dragon Ball Saga a lot. And I actually, just before we went on to do the podcast, I did a video on my channel that's going to go up tomorrow. By the time you guys are all hearing the podcast, it'll be up on my channel. But I actually beat Cellmax Red Zone with a full Dragon Ball Saga team. So it was a lot of fun. And I really, really enjoyed the Dragon Ball. I mean, I was rocking the physical Bulma. Like, we had it going. It was good. It was a fun run. I really liked it. So I'm just a fan of Dragon Ball Saga, and I want them. I feel like they're just 1 or 2 like top tier premium pieces away, because that Jackie Chun is actually really good with his damage reduction. But I just feel like they need 1 or 2 more premium units, like another Dokkan Fest or something, and that team will be cooking pretty good. And then, as Vilify was mentioning earlier, just the setup of having like, doing these red zone runs of no item runs, the Goku Hachan rotation is like almost an unkillable one. And then there's so many other pairings you can do where it can be like God Goku with like another like hard to kill unit, or like the one I like is the Piccolo rotation. Like that's a pretty hard to kill rotation. So there's just some like ridiculous, and you've got the Gammas on there you can do with movie heroes. There's a lot of fun combos in this. Goku and Hachan, they're both on movie heroes, but Goku himself is on a ton of teams, and he's very usable and abusable as a floating support unit. So yeah, overall, I like all these units. I don't know if you guys want to chime in on the free-to-play Yamcha at all, if you like them or not, but I really like them.
All you did was remind me we have World Tournament on JP because of Jackie Chun, so thanks for that.
Yep. World Tournament coming. Yep, exactly. And Minato, yeah, you don't like him. That's fine. Whatever.
Nope.
But the hypeness on Global, sure, we did not get Cell and Gohan ZZ, but we got the God Goku. And it's kind of ironic because, like, JP, you guys are the one that really needs this guy right now for that Power Wishes team. So Global, at least when we get Power Wishes, we're going to have this guy in hand. I'll just tell you my experience. I've been running mine rainbowed full level 10 links. This dude, when he's like built up, he's 500k starter turn defense with 50% defense proc on each. So when I say fully build up, he's got a 5-turn stack on his 18 key. So once that's built up and then you're continually stacking, he's 500k defense, 50% defense, and he could double super and get that twice. He has high dodge chance, which is 50%, and he's hitting like 14 mil attack stats. Like, I think this guy is actually crazy. I really, really like him. I think he's fantastic. I think after a double super, he would be touching 1 million defense. Minato, you can tell me if I'm calculating that right or not, but I think this guy is crazy. So, Minato, based on what you've seen, what do you think of this guy, Goku?
Wait, what did it say his defense is going to be?
So I had him at 500k starter turn defense, and if I double super, I'm calculating him to be around 1 million defense. Am I right or wrong on that?
No, because
it's 50%.
It's off his first defensive stat, and then it's additive. So if his defensive stat, let's say, starts at 200k, then it's 100k per super attack for the rest of the fight.
Oh, so there's 500k starter turn because that's from building up for 5 turns. It doesn't get calced in with that?
No, that'd be multiplicative. This is additive.
Okay. So we're looking at what, like 700k defense after on a double super?
Again, it depends on his starting defense, right?
Okay.
I did the math right a while ago. I'm not gonna bring it up right now.
Nope, that's fine. See, this is why you're the math guy.
I would assume his defense would be around 600-ish K, maybe 650-ish with the double super.
Were you thinking that he's getting 100k per super is what you're saying?
No, I mean, just as an example, if a unit starts up at 200k defense and they get a 50% raise, and it'd be 100k, right?
Okay.
But then it'd be the same thing for the rest of the battle.
Okay.
Right? I mean,
I'm pretty sure he started at least 200k, so I feel like he'd get at least 100k per super.
Yeah, something like that, right? So
okay.
Assuming double super, he'd be around 700k. I believe at most I got him to like 600-ish K or so, which is pretty good. Just from the math alone.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing with this guy, with the amount of damage he's doing, he's going to be fine against normals against pretty much anything. And then if there's a super coming, he has that 50% chance to dodge. So I think he's going to be good in pretty much every red zone. Other than maybe, I mean, Broly. I was going to say Broly might be the only one that gives him trouble, right? Vil, do you have any thoughts on this guy, Goku, based on what you've seen?
You guys covered all the good stuff. I just get a kick out of the medium chance to dodge after 11 turns. That's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think he's great. I really enjoy playing him, and I really like him too as a pairing with the Year 7 gods. I think that is just a very good rotation, and it's a nice substitute if you're doing a fight where Tech God Goku doesn't get his passive, then you don't want to run him. So that's a great way to run that rotation. So I've been really enjoying that rotation a lot. I think this guy Goku can slot into slot 1 because of the dodge, and then you let the Year 7 gods build up, and then if they build up enough defense, you could swap and play the other one in slot 1 if you want to, but I really like him. So then we got a couple of EZAs here. So we've got the that was the first of the 2 EZAs, and then the other one we got Int Kid Goku. What I'm going to say is he's very good. I would comp him very much to AGL Metal Cooler, in that I think they're both like very good units, but they get very overshadowed because they have a direct unit that shares the same name as them. AGL Cooler has the Carnival Metal Cooler, and then this Kid Goku has the Physical Goku. So it's not that this Goku is bad, it's just he's sharing the same name. Really, the effective way to run him is if you're doing like full Dragon Ball Saga, which I did feature in my Red Zone video, where you actually run him on rotation and float one of the physical Kid Gokus. That way you're getting that floating support. The problem is the team doesn't have that great unit to put in the middle, right? So I was running like physical Bulma and just hoping for her dodging it, and she came through for me. But I like him. I mean, he hits he can do 777 mil attack stats. He's got the active skill attack where he crits for the rest of the turn, which is very good. The problem is when you see his active skill attack, comparing to the Spirit Bombs and then the STR Kaioken Goku, it's just like, that didn't really hit anything at all. But it's something. It's damage. It's something you can use. Vilify, do you have any thoughts on the Int Kid Goku?
Yeah, he has one of these just like pesky mechanics where it's really based on HP, and I'm reading this now just to kind of catch up. I feel like it's been forever since I've used this unit.
Yeah,
but like the attack boost with more HP, and then the defensive boost up to 159% with less HP remaining. I feel like that's just kind of pesky. And then it's the same thing like right here. I'm looking, it's like, you get a guaranteed crit when the HP is 59% or less, but you're already going to the defensive buffs because the HP is getting lower, right? And you're losing on that attack. So it's like, he's just kind of one of those weird, like funky units, but like, it still is good. And then the amount of categories this guy is on, that's got to be 20 teams. I'm just looking at it real quick. I'm not going to count it live, but
yeah, he's on a lot of teams.
He's on so many teams. And then his link skill or his link set is just kind of tricky, right? Like you think about Guided to the Dragon Balls, the Innocence, the Incredible Adventure, Turtle School, like where are you really getting these links aside from like if you're running them with like Dragon Ball Saga units, right?
Right. It's Dragon Ball Saga. That's where you're getting them. It's about it. And that's why I want that team to get more help, right? The thing with him falling, getting crit under 59, it's because they want his active skill turn to be really good, because then you're going to guarantee crit on that and then have crits for the rest of the turn.
Right.
Yeah. Minato, your thoughts on Kid Goku?
He's good. I always feel like people underrated him a little. Yeah. But obviously, like I'm pretty sure you guys said, the issue is that physical Kid Goku exists, right? So
yeah. Yeah, and once again, comparing him back to HL Metal Cooler, I think that the players that are going to get the most value out of him are ones that do not pull the counterpart unit, right? So for people that did not pull Carnival Cooler, you run HL Metal Cooler as the lead and bring a friend Carnival Cooler. Same thing with Kid Goku. You can run the Int one as the lead and then run the physical one, and you're going to be able to run like really good solid teams with that and enjoy both units. So I think those are the players that will get the most value, but I'm finding ways to use them. I just like them a lot. I love Dragon Ball Saga. I want them to get more love. I always complain about how Dragon Ball is so tied to the World Tournament and they get all these crappy free-to-play units, so they don't get very many actual celebrations. So I hope they change that in the future. I'm clamoring for that Demon King Piccolo, Kid Goku Dokkan Fest, Dual Dokkan Fest. That needs to happen at some point, but we'll see. So anyways, I think we're going to wrap up there. Do you guys want to add anything before we hop off for today?
I think you covered everything. Obviously the Baba Shop EZAs are huge. You said
yeah.
What about the Baba Shop update? I know you mentioned that a little bit.
I did. So we had Baba Shop EZAs on the agenda. They're pretty skippable. Like they're not that great. Like the big thing with the Baba Shop EZAs is their support needs to be for categories, not for typings, and that's the bad part. And then what I was telling Bill before the show was that I'm actually more excited to get the Baba Shop update on Global, where we can actually like buy all the Gregories and stuff. I'm actually more excited for that than these actual EZAs, which I do believe that the EZA signal like that's coming soon. Because the way that these guys EZA right now is you have to use them, I believe it's 15 times in battle to get all their medals. But later on, they will put their medals in the shop. And I believe when they put their medals in the shop is when the Baba Shop update happens. Minato, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's how it went down.
So yeah, there's the missions, and then when the missions are out, they're buyable in the Baba Shop. Specifically the EZA medals, right?
Yes. Yep, for sure. So yeah, I'm just excited for that Baba Shop update. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So anything else you guys want to add? All right, so that is going to wrap up our show for today. This has been episode 104 of the Dokkan Battle Podcast. I would like to thank my guests today, Minato and Vilify, for joining me. And also thanks for Vilify for running the behind-the-scenes stuff. My name is Joe Wags, and it has been an honor hosting for y'all today. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.